Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome if you're new. I hope you're all doing well and welcome back to another video. We are now officially in September, which means we only have September, October, November and a little bit of December to read the rest of the books I want to read before the end of the year. And as I keep saying, this year really hasn't been my reading year. I've been in and out of slumps all year, hitting a major one across the entirety of the summer, and still haven't really found my reading mojo quite yet. I am definitely reading more than I was, but I'm still not reading what I used to read, and it makes me so sad because my physical TBR and my TBR of just books I want to read, even if I don't own them yet, even if they're from the library, even if they're on my phone or whatnot, there's still so many books I want to read and I'm just not getting to them quick enough. So I'm here today to sit down and talk you through all the books I want to try and get to, emphasis on try to get to, by the end of the year. It's quite a hefty stack, but what isn't these days, because I like to push myself and try and be as ambitious as possible. I highly doubt I'm going to be able to get to all of these books, but I just wanted to kind of sit down and talk you through some of these books, because trying to kind of create this list got me really excited about some books I've kind of forgotten about. So I think there's a perfect opportunity to share with you guys the books that are kind of top on my TBR slash wanting to get to by the end of the year. So that's what we're going to do today. There's quite a little bit of a list, so without further ado, let's get started. Now I'll start with my physical books because they're right next to me, and then we'll go through my phone and just pull out some titles that sound interesting to me that I would kind of like to get to before the end of the year. The first one, in no particular order on the top of my list, is A Heart So Fierce and Broken by Bridget Kemmerer. This is the second book to the Curse of Dark and Lonely series. I read the first of this series this year? End of last year in October for my Magical Hopathon, and I really enjoyed it. And it's basically a Beauty and the Beast retelling with our main character, I've forgotten her name, Harper, who has cerebral palsy, and she gets kind of teleported into this fantasy world. It's a retelling of Beauty and the Beast, and the story kind of goes on from there. I really enjoyed the first one, really didn't expect to enjoy it, so I was interested in reading the rest of the series, and then time went on, it never kind of happened until this year when I actually brought the trilogy in paperback. So now I have no reason not to kind of get to this book before the end of the year. There is another book in the series, A Vow So Bold and Deadly, I think, but if I can get this book done from the trilogy, I'll be very chuffed with myself. So that's the only book that I'm like, I would kind of want to get to ASAP because I know I'm going to enjoy it. The other books have been sat on my TBR for so long, I've kind of lost interest in them, and therefore if I can get to them by the end of the year, I'll be very happy to get them off my physical TBR and therefore most likely unhaul them. Because I'm not too excited about any of these, but they just keep staring at me on my TBR. I just kind of want to get them done and dusted. If I enjoy them, great, amazing. If I don't and I end up DNFing them or unhauling them, that's fine. I just kind of want to get these books shifted so I can bring new and exciting books into my life, because my book storage is very kind of minimal at the minute, and I just don't have enough room to store books that have been sat on my TBR for so long and just kind of never get read. So this is a pile of books that I just kind of need to get to by the end of the year because I want to clear them out of my possession or keep them and become favourites or whatnot. The first one is A Year After You by Nina DePass. I brought this book because I was excited for it at the time. I have no idea what it's really about. It was meant to be on my August TBR. That never happened because I'm not that excited for it, so I never really had the motivation to pick it up. I'm kind of hoping with it being on this list, I'll have some motivation to pick it up, but we shall see. All I can kind of tell from the blurb is that it is about our main character, Cara, who gets sent by her mum to a boarding school in the Alps because I think her best friend has passed away and she's really struggling with that. So her mum thinks a fresh start in a boarding school in a new setting will kind of help. And I think something fishy goes on in that boarding school. So we shall see. Got there in the end about this one, but I would kind of like to get it at least off my TBR. Whether that's out of my possession or not, I don't know, but I would like to get to it by the end of the year. The next one was a lovely gift from Christy over at Christy Reads a long time ago, I think for like monetization. Yeah, which was last March. I'm sorry, Christy, I haven't got to this book yet. This book sounds so up my alley. It basically follows our main character, Chase, who is a wannabe actress. She's kind of struggling with alcoholism and she's currently at AA, and she meets someone at AA, kind of like helps her out of it, I believe. I'm not too sure, but it's an adult book about trying to figure out your life, and that is my buzzword. So I just kind of want to get to this because it keeps eyeing me up, and I just kind of want to know if I like it or not. So hopefully I can get this read by the end of the year. The next one is A Girl with a Louding Voice by Abby Dare. I wanted to read this book after Jess from Books Past Bedtime raved about this book in like her reading books from the 2020 best books of 2020 list from Goodreads. That made no sense, you know what I mean. The kind of like roundup of all the best books of the year, you vote on it, the People's Choice Awards kind of thing. And she read it because of that, I believe, and it sounded really interesting, but it really daunts me. It's not even that big, but it daunts me so much. It basically follows a young girl who lives in Nigeria, and I think she's married at the age of 14. And she's trying to kind of get out of the country and kind of make her life better for herself. So it does sound really interesting. I do really want to read it, but just nothing is gravitating me towards it, and I just keep putting it off because I feel really intimidated by the writing style. Even though I haven't even read any of this book yet, the writing style intimidates me and I don't know why. So hopefully I can get to this by the end of the year. The next one was a book that was on my I wish I'd got to this book list in 2020. I didn't get to it, so I said to myself that in 2021 I was going to get to it, and I didn't get to it. And we're now almost at the end of 2022 and I still haven't read it. And that is A Vanishing Half by Rick Bennett. I really want to read this book. I read about 40 pages of this book when I was in a slump, like April, May time, and I did enjoy what I read. I just didn't want to read this kind of heavy, dense book when I was trying to get out of a slump. So I kind of just put it to the side and never picked it back up. I do really want to read this book. It's about two sisters, I think twin sisters, identical twins, grow up in a small southern black community when they're younger, and they both kind of separate from one another as they get older, as they become adults, and they start living two completely different lives, and then eventually they kind of weave their way back to one another, I believe. And I'm very excited to read this book. I've been wanting to read this book for like 2 years, and I don't know why I still haven't picked this up, but just talking about all these books has made me excited to read them. So I'm really hoping that this TBR video that I'm making actually serves its purpose of remotivating me to read all these books. And the last physical book I would really like to get to by the end of the year, and if I watch this video on like December 31st and I haven't read this book, I'm going to be kind of annoyed, because I kind of call myself a Marian Keyes fan. I kind of buy all her books. They're all very mundane, just you get on with life, characters just have life happen to them and it's kind of sort it out, and they're usually about 500 to 600 pages per book, and I always read them, I always get them. So her latest release, I was like, of course I'm going to pick it up, Grown Ups by Marian Keyes. And the reason why I haven't picked this book up is because the cover is absolutely disgusting. Who decided to make a cover this colour? I don't understand. And only recently I discovered that when they released this book and published it, they released it in like 5 different colours: yellow, teal blue, pink I think is another colour, I can't remember the other ones. But I brought it off Amazon, which had a teal cover. When the book arrived, it was lime green, and I wasn't very impressed, and it really hasn't made me want to pick up the book. I don't actually know what this book is actually about, so bear with. Meet Jessie, Cara and Nell, married to brothers Johnny, Ed and Liam. 3 very different women tied to 3 very different men. Every family occasion is a party until the day the secret spills out. Playtime is over, but where are the grown-ups? It sounds intriguing. I do like Marian Keyes' writing style. Marian Keyes is the official author, although I say it's Giovanna Fletcher and Billy and me. This is the official author that got me into reading in the first place, because I read Angels by Marian Keyes. That was the first book I read that kind of stirred this reading kind of bug in me. So I've just kind of been gravitated towards all her books. I just have yet to read her latest release. I think this came out this year though, so I don't actually feel too bad for not having read it. This year, last year. When did it come out? It came out in 2020. I only got it last year then. But even still, it's time to be read. So those are all the physical books on my TBR. I'm now going to go to my iBooks account on my phone. I'm going to screen record, maybe. I'll see. I'll probably screen record and then I'll decide if I can bother to edit the screen recording in. But my phone is currently screen recording. This is my iBooks collection. I have a lot of books on my iBooks account that I always forget about. And I buy books when they're like 99p, 1.99, 2.99 maybe sometimes. And I just always forget that they're here. So I'm going to go through all these with you, and if there's any books that are calling my name, I'm going to add them to this list, and hopefully I can read them by the end of the year. The first 3, 4 even, as you can see, are books that I recently brought and I do kind of really want to read by the end of the year. The first one is Nora Goes Off Script. I have no idea what this book is about, but I've seen the title and the book cover going around on the book community, and it sounds intriguing to me. I think it's to do with an actual writer, like the main character is a writer, hence the title Nora Goes Off Script. So I do want to kind of get to that one by the end of the year. The next one is Counterfeit by Kristen Chen, and I saw this book on Rachel Catherine's YouTube channel, and she made it sound really, really interesting. It's basically about, like, I think it's a family who counterfeit designer handbags, and it's all about that world and kind of the sticky situations they get up to. And I think it just sounds really, really interesting. So when I saw it for like 99p on iBooks, I just kind of had to get it. I would like to get to this book by the end of the year just so it's off my TBR. The one book I'm really, really, really excited to read that I snagged up when I saw it was on offer on iBooks was The No Show by Beth O'Leary. I really enjoy Beth O'Leary's books. This book sounds the most up my alley than all of them do. Although the road trip sounded really, really appealing to me, the execution kind of fell a little bit flat. However, The No Show sounds absolutely hilarious, and I've heard only good things about it. It basically follows 3 main characters who are all female, and they all go on a date on Valentine's Day with the same man. They don't realise that at the time until he doesn't show up to any of the dates, and they all kind of like create a pact and kind of suss out this man, and I think it sounds absolutely hilarious. So I really, really want to get to that by the end of the year. I saw The Deal by Elle Kennedy on iBooks for going cheap, and I obviously saw everyone rave about it, so I had to pick it up. And I do kind of want to read this by the end of the year. I think it sounds really interesting. Everyone raves about this book series, so it's definitely something that I want to try to get to by the end of the year. And as I add each book up, I'm more and more daunted by the amount of books I want to read in like 3 months, because I said to myself this year that I didn't want to like add any more books to a December TBR, because December is going to be a chock-a-block month with going to Florida, like, and just kind of like wrapping up the entire year. So I'm going to try not to read any books in December. So really that leaves September, October and November, and I only read about 3 to 4 books a month at the minute, so that is like max 12 books. Sticky situation I'm in. Can you feel it? A couple, there's any more that I want to read? Not really. Ooh, I would kind of like to read Take a Hint, Dani Brown, just to give Talia Hibbert one more try and see if I enjoy her writing. Because I read Get a Life, Chloe Brown, which is kind of like an old booktube fave now, and I didn't really like it, and then everyone said, yeah, but you love fake dating, so you enjoyed Dani Brown better, so I picked it up on iBooks when it was only going for 99p. I have yet to pick it up because I always forget it's on here, so hopefully with it being in this list, I can read it quicker. Is there any other books that I would like to get to by the end of the year? I don't think so, because all these books I'm kind of going into like old books that I brought. No, I don't think so. Okay, so that's not actually too bad then. I'm happy with that little stack. Is there any chance I could actually get to all of these by the end of the year? Let's see. So, oh, I forgot one. Okay, let's count first and then we'll add another one on top. So we have physical book wise, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then ebook form, we have Nora Goes Off Script, so 7, Counterfeit 8, No Show 9, The Deal 10, and Take a Hint, Dani Brown 11. So we do actually have 12, although my September TBR is already planned, so who knows. The 12th book that I want to read by the end of the year, and I think I definitely will, is because I'm very, very excited for it. It hasn't come out yet, which is why I almost forgot about it, and that is Matthew Perry's like autobiography, memoir, whatever you want to call it. He is releasing a life memoir basically about his time from being in Friends. If you didn't know, Matthew Perry is the actor who plays Chandler being in Friends. Friends, if you didn't know, is my favourite TV show of all time. It got me through a lot of shit. It's kind of shaped me to who I am today. I fucking love that show. So when I saw that he had a book coming out, of course I pre-ordered it, the signed edition, the hardback. I did the full shebang as much as I could. It comes out end of November, beginning of November, middle of November. It definitely comes out in November. And it basically, he's written all about his life. It's called Friends, Lovers and Big Mistakes. or something like that. What's it called? I was close. Friends, Lovers, and The Big Terrible Thing. Obviously, I have a feeling The Big Terrible Thing is going to be his drug addiction, his time in rehab, all that sort of stuff. Friends is obviously going to be Friends, and then his just like general life. And I am so excited to read it. I'm really excited to delve deeper into his life, and I cannot wait to read that book. So that'll be the 12th book I'm going to try and read by the end of the year. So that being said, those are all the books I would like to read by the end of 2022. Can I do it? Probably not. Do I have high hopes? Yes. Do I feel motivated after creating this video? Hell yes. Fingers crossed, I can do it. Let me know what books you really want to get to by the end of this year, because this year is quickly ending, and the sooner we kind of get into the swing of September, the sooner it's going to be Halloween and autumn, and then it's going to be Christmas, and then you know what, we'll be planning TBRs for 2023. So let me know what books you want to try and get to by the end of the year in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a massive thumbs up and subscribe to see future content from me. I do anything from book videos, lifestyle videos, planning videos, productivity videos. I do it all here on this channel, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss anything. And without further ado, I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys.